Hi guys, last time we read, we almost finished chapter 19 of the Parker Inheritance, and Brandon and Candace had just found out a little bit more about the Washingtons from the deacon at Brandon's church, and they were trying to figure out who James Parker is. So that's where we'll start back up again. Candace twirled a strand of hair around her finger. Her fancy hairdo for church had lasted less than a day. Do you have the link to that obituary? Maybe he had a son. Brandon reopened the website. Looked like he had a son named Charles Douglas. Okay, so maybe that's James Parker. I guess that's possible, but we don't know if he even knew Siobhan. He could have been 10 years older or younger. Candace reached for the Perkins yearbook, then stopped herself. Charles Douglas wouldn't be listed there either. We should go back to the high school to see if we can find some old Wallace High yearbooks, and maybe we could have Deacon Draper bring the photos there now. If my schedule is right, Milo should be heading to the pool soon. Brandon nodded. I'll call Miss McMillan. After he left the room, Candace opened the yearbook and flipped to the photo of the tennis team. Adam Douglas and Enoch Washington stood in the back, behind their players. A black man and a white man, side by side. She wondered if they were friends. Chapter 20, Enoch Washington. July 24th, 1957. Big Dub rattled the ice in his almost empty glass as Robert Hicks, the Perkins football coach, pulled up to his house. It was just past 9 o'clock at night. The mulberry tree in his front yard swayed in the warm breeze. Dub stood up from his rocking chair, folded his well-worn copy of New York Times under his arm, then finished off his scotch. It tingled as it slid down his throat. Already getting started, Dub? Robert asked as he walked across the grass. Dub had mowed the yard that morning, and the clippings still littered the concrete carport. I'm celebrating. That's what you've been saying for the last 2 weeks, Robert laughed. You'd think you were the one playing in Wimbledon. I saw her play once, he said. In high school. Big Dub picked up the bottle of scotch for a refill, but Robert stopped him from uncapping it. Slow down there. Save some drinking for the game. I saw Althea Gibson play once, Big Dub began again. She was better than every other black person on that court. He pushed the newspaper into Robert's hand. And now she's better than all the white people. Robert looked at the newspaper. It was folded into an article about Althea Gibson's ticker tape parade in New York City, a celebration of her victory at Wimbledon. She was the first black person to win a singles tennis championship there. Your cousin from up north sent you this? Came in yesterday. He tipped his glass again, letting the last drops of scotch melt onto his tongue. That could be Lil Dub in a couple of years. She could win at Wimbledon. She could win them all. And when's the last time she picked up a racket? Silly girl, so stubborn. Wonder where she got that from. Big Dub let out a sigh. Lil Dub had even stopped accepting the crossword puzzles he used to buy for her. I ain't gonna fight about Siobhan with you. I get enough of that from Leanne. But that girl is gonna play tennis whether she likes it or not. She will if she wants me to pay for her college. Well, good luck with that, Robert said. You don't have kids. You don't understand, Big Dub said. A parent's job is to protect their children, even from themselves. Especially from themselves. I think Lil Dub might have other ideas about that. He pulled his keys from his pocket. Come on, the sooner we get to Smitty's, the quicker I can win that money. Their friend and fellow teacher, Dwayne Smith, lived on a farmland on the country line. They played cards at his house once a month, though they usually did more bragging than actual playing. Robert pulled out of the yard and started down the street. Turn left here, Big Dub said. Take Loyola. Why? Just do it. I want to see something. Robert did as Big Dub instructed. He typically took Darling Avenue to the highway, as it avoided most of the white areas of town. But today, Dub was directing them right into a run-down white neighborhood. Slow down, Big Dub said. They neared a bar called the Watering Hole. Dub? He's there, he said, slapping his hands on the old mobile dashboard. Turn in. You crazy? I ain't going inside, he said. Just want to leave something on Coach Turner's car. Coach Thomas Turner was the science teacher and tennis coach at Wallace High School. His boys' team had won the state championship that year. Dub often said that his boys would have won a championship as well, if there were enough colored high school teams in the state to have an actual tournament. Robert turned on his signal, but didn't enter the dirt parking lot. Why you want to start something with Coach Turner? What'd he ever do to you? Nothing, and that's the problem. Dub folded the paper, making sure the photo from the parade was on the front and center of the page. Come on, I want Coach to know that tennis ain't a white boy's only sport anymore. Robert tightened his grip on the wheel as he steered into the parking lot. He stopped the car and scooted down. Now hurry up, I'm not trying to get lynched because of you. Dub opened the car door and stepped into the dark night. He slipped the paper underneath the windshield wiper, then ran back to the car. An alligator-shaped grin plastered across his face. It was almost midnight when a car sped into Dwayne Smith's driveway. Who in the world is that? Smitty asked, stumbling from the table. He'd lost all of his poker chips a long time ago, but since it was his house, Robert and Dub let him continue playing. He glanced out the window. It's Coach Douglas. What's Adam doing here? Dub asked. One of y'all invite him to the game? Smitty opened the door for Adam Douglas. He surveyed the men in the room, then leveled his gaze on Dub. Tell me the truth. Did you leave that newspaper on Tommy Turner's car? Dub smiled. Maybe. Why, Dub? Adam slammed his fist into a palm. They're on their way over here now. Should be any second. Dub took a sip from his glass. Fine, let 'em come. Just then a car piece horned the night. Everyone in the room jumped. Adam ran to the window. Oh no, it's them. The horn sounded again. 3 long bursts. Big Dub and Robert joined Adam at the window, while Smitty ran to the kitchen. I guess they didn't like that article, Dub said, chuckling. This isn't funny, Adam said. Robert hit the light on the front porch. Smitty returned carrying a shotgun and a case of shells. What do you think they're going to do? Adam asked him. He loaded the gun barrel. I got a right to defend myself. They're trespassing. Yeah, but you're drunk, and they're white. You'd be arrested, convicted, and hooked up to the chair before you could even blink. Adam glanced outside. They're not caring. Let me go out and talk to them. Find out what they want. Big Dub moved toward the door. I'll come with you. Absolutely not, Adam said. Wait here. I'll be back in a second. The others crowded around the window as Adam stepped on the porch. Turn off your brights, he called. I can't see you. The car headlights went dead. Dub let his eyes adjust to the dark. He could make out 4 men as they walked toward the house. 3 he recognized as teachers from Wallace. The other was Marion Allen, the son of one of the most powerful men in the city. Something Marion made sure everyone knew. Your coaches are paper boys now, huh? Coach Turner asked, holding up the newspaper. Don't lie and say it wasn't Dub. Rich saw him in the parking lot. It was a joke, Tommy, Adam said. You see anyone laughing? Marion Allen slurred, his 2 eyes narrowing into blue pinpricks. Big Dub didn't think he was armed, but he couldn't be sure. And if he was, Dub wasn't about to let Adam get hurt over something he started. He didn't always like the man, but Adam Douglas had always done right by him. Big Dub blinked and shook his head, hoping to clear the static from his brain. That Scotch didn't seem so smart now, but he felt calm. He felt in control. He wasn't going to let those good old boys bully him around. Smitty, you have that shotgun ready, he said. Then he stepped outside, his feet heavy against the creaking porch. Hey, Dub, Coach Turner said. Hello, Coach, Dub acknowledged, tipping his head. Is there a problem out here? I sure think there is, Marion Allen said. He charged ahead, then stopped at the base of the porch steps. Dub didn't slouch, didn't show any cowardice. He wanted Marion Allen just to see how big and bad he could be. We're sorry about the newspaper, Adam said, stepping between Dub and Marion. Now y'all go home. Tommy, we can sort this out tomorrow, once we've all sobered up. You think colored kids are better than whites now? Marion Allen asked. I never said that. Big Dub had to work hard to keep his body still, to keep from going down those steps and grabbing Marion Allen by the throat. Nobody cares about some colored girl winning a tennis match in England, Marion said. The people of New York City cared. They threw her a parade. I don't care what they do up north, Marion said. I bet my little brother could. Marion, Coach Turner snapped. Enough. Marion smirked. All I was going to say was that I bet my brother could beat any of the boys on Dub's team. But that was definitely not what Marion Allen was about to say. Big Dub almost said as much until he got a better idea. He crossed his arms and stared at Marion Allen. Prove it. What? Prove it. Have him come out and play against one of my boys. Marion didn't seem to know how to respond. He gave off a Weasley chuckle and he looked at the men behind him. As good an idea as that may be, we both know that ain't gonna happen, Coach Turner said. Now come on, Marion, let's go. Why can't it happen? Big Dub asked. He moved so he could look directly at Coach Turner. Why not? Coach Turner rolled his eyes. Adam, will you tell your tennis coach to shut up? Adam Douglas didn't speak for a few moments. He slowly rubbed his face, then let out a long sigh. You know, Tommy, I think Dub might be onto something. Are you serious? Coach Turner frowned. Well, just because you're a fool to support this doesn't mean my athletic director and principal will let... Then don't tell him, Dub said. Y'all just built new courts at your school, right? Behind the gym, hidden from the highway? He leaned against the porch railing. A splinter dug into his hand, but he wasn't about to wince. Just a friendly little tournament, an exhibition. Nothing official. That is, unless you guys are too scared to... Enoch, Adam said. I think he gets the point. Big Dub's grin widened. What do you say, Coach Turner? He reached out his hand. Instead of all this talk, let's settle it on the court. Your boys against mine. I'm going to stop right there. And given what we know about the Washingtons being kicked out of the town of Lambert, what are your predictions for what might happen at this secret tennis game?